So you can be involved in witchcraft unknowingly and not even know it. And I only know that because I didn't know that I was a witch before I gave my life to the Lord. And I was practicing things that I thought were good, even though I wasn't wishing any harm on anyone, even though I wasn't wishing any ill intent on anyone. And because I felt like, I wasn't doing any voodoo, any black magic, I felt as if it were innocent and it was not. Anything that involves you paying for a thing, because I used to pay for these little spells, right? And these spells were for like an increase in your fortune, an increase in your business. I used to pay for spells for love to find me and so on and so forth. And as I stated, everything was positive. It wasn't for any ill intent. And I used to buy off of Etsy like the candles that had the intention either inside of them or had the crystals, the cinnamon stick, the bay leaf inside of it. Right on the bay leaf, I would burn it, and I would be praying to the universe instead of praying to God and asking the universe instead of asking God. And I've always believed in God, but I did not believe in Jesus. That was my problem. I allow other people to misinterpret the Bible to me and to give me, their opinion on Jesus, and I fell for it. But he did indeed let me know that that was still witchcraft, even though it wasn't any evil intent, right? And even our words can be witchcraft. Us being manipulative is witchcraft. Us lying is witchcraft. Us using our looks, and being flattery, over flattering is witchcraft, and it's all to lead his children astray because we are doing it with the intent of getting a man and seducing a man. So as I stated, you can unknowingly be involved in witchcraft and be a witch or a warlock and not even know it. That's how thin the line is, basically, and you won't even know it. Don't do anything that is not in the Bible, if you're a follower of the Lord, because we can think these things are innocent and they're not. Use sage and Palo Santo and they think it's okay, because I was using that as well. I was using sage and Palo Santo and I was thinking that I was cleansing my home and getting rid of evil spirits, and it wasn't until I started using that stuff and my dreams and my nightmares and things that were just happening around my home, it got worse and worse, and I didn't understand why. And it was because of these things that they say are innocent. If these things are innocent, then why does it feel like there's dark energy in my home? And also, I used to put salt in front of the door thinking I'm bringing in good fortune. Also, don't let me even forget the bath. The baths that I used to take, I would put crystals around the tub and I would put in, bay leaf and cinnamon, thinking these baths are going to attract, abundance. I would charge my crystals whenever there was a new moon, a full moon, not even knowing that I'm literally going the opposite way of Jesus, right? Like, I also used to watch tarot a lot, lining myself up with the zodiac sign for the tarot and thinking all this stuff was going to happen. None of that stuff happened. None of that stuff came to pass. None of it at all. Okay? And yes, these people can be gifted, but they're using their gifts for the wrong person. They're on the wrong side. They're in enemy territory, okay? And I wanted to share this message because Jesus did want me to share this message and let people know, like, these things can look innocent, but they're really not. And I'm glad that he healed and delivered me from it, because I was starting to become addicted to these things, and I was so dependent on these things when I should have been dependent on the Lord, when I should have been dependent on God. I used to think the crystals were going to save me, the crystals were going to take away my bad nightmares. I also had, so much hate in my life, and it was because, I had a lot of females that just didn't like me, and it was due to the way I looked and the way I carried myself, and I wasn't a follower, and I just always had this problem growing up with females, the way I was shaped and just the way, like I said, I carried myself, the way I looked. They didn't like me for it, and I was paying also for these spells to, keep the hate away from me, to keep envy away from me, and none of it worked, like I said. And when I started experiencing, a lot of the darkness that was surrounding me because I didn't know what I was doing, I thought that these crystals, because they say that black crystal is for protection, like you put it under your pillow at night or you carry it around with you, it's going to protect you. It did none of that, okay? Drama still came, people still didn't like me, and I still had nightmares. And like I said, it got worse because I was inviting these things in.